Our next section is anterior spinal artery occlusion. Which part of the spinal cord do you think is supplied by the anterior spinal artery? Would it be the anterior portion or the posterior portion? Well, if you said anterior portion, you have answered correctly that the anterior spinal artery, which guess where it runs? It runs anterior to the spine. And do you know why we call it the anterior spinal artery? Because it runs and supplies the anterior spinal cord. Well, looky here, Pookie. Come here, Pookie. Oh, I infarcted my anterior spinal artery. Which part of the cord did I just assassinate? Oh, looks like I just infarcted the anterior spinal artery. I just infarcted the anterior spinal cord. Uh-oh. Oh, boo. I feel weak. Actually, I would say I feel weak, but given the fact that I've just lost my pain and temperature findings, I actually don't feel anything. I feel tired. I'm not feeling so hot. Well, actually, I can't say that I'm not feeling so hot because I've lost my temperature fibers too. I have no pain. I am receding. A distant smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your position and your vibratory sense stay intact. And that's what this is. I have become comfortably numb. Pain and temperature is lost, but it comes through in waves because I can feel the vibration and I can feel the position. I can feel the position of the vibratory. But anterior spinal artery infarction, I have become comfortably numb. I don't feel the pain. I don't feel the temperature. And this is a unique thing. Everything is lost except position and vibratory sense. Okay? Did you know that? That's what they were singing about? They were singing about anterior spinal infarction. Let's take a look at this. Let's look at this slide. Flaccid paralysis. Well, why flaccid paralysis? Because you've lost all the ability to innervate your muscles. You are essentially nothing except the ability to perceive position and vibration. You've lost all your motor function. You've lost everything except position and vibratory. And then what ends up happening later on, when muscles get no input from above, you start to contract up. Decortic rigidity, spastic paresis, spastic paresis. Next slide. Everything is lost except position and vibratory sense. And anterior spinal artery says if you know that in the posterior position and vibratory, you will know on this slide that everything is lost except position and vibratory. Pain and temperature decussate near the syrinx in the center, near the tract in the center. I hate memorizing things like lateral spinal thalamic tracts. I think it's a lot easier for me to say everything is lost except position and vibratory. Now my next statement you're going to hate. And the next statement is this. What is the treatment for anterior spinal artery infarction? And the answer is there really isn't anything. If it's a stroke, like a stroke, you can give aspirin to try and prevent the next stroke, but there's very little you can do. And people end up being paralyzed and you can't reverse it. In other words, it's not like a peripheral artery, I can bypass it. It's not like a coronary artery that I can stent it and angioplast it. It's not like a carotid artery that I can do an endarterectomy and clean it up. This is a really sucky disease because it means that you're flaccid at the beginning because you're like a puppet whose strings have been cut. And then later on, what happens when you lose all that input? Your body starts to tighten up. Because that's what happens to muscles over time. They tighten up. First, you're like a puppet whose strings have been cut. And then you tighten up spastic. It's a drag. No treatment. Everything lost except position and vibratory. So this is a picture of just saying position and vibratory goes over here. And the other tracks is everything else is lost except position and vibratory. There's no specific therapy. I will see you in the next clip.